Hey folks, GameSpot's live stage show at Comic-Con 2013 continues. I'm your host, Chris Waters, and our next segment is going to be a big one because we got a game we want to really get into, show you guys a couple matches of. It's called Solstice Arena, and joining me to my left is Cameron McNeil, principal game designer for Solstice Arena. Cameron, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. How's it going?
It's going well, man. We're into the gameplay demo section of our live show here, and so we just had Halo, Spartan Assault on, and now Solstice Arena. We're shaping up to play a few matches in this. It's a MOBA.
It's a MOBA. It's a MOBA. And it's not just a MOBA. It's a speed MOBA.
A speed MOBA.
We're the world's first speed MOBA. So.
Okay, so when I think speed MOBA, I'm thinking, all right, some popular MOBAs, League of Legends, Dota 2. Those matches can take a long time, like half an hour or longer, depending. How long are we talking for Solstice Arena matches?
An extremely long Solstice Arena match is about 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
So on average, we're like 5 to 10 minutes for matches. So that's where the speed comes from. And to give you some background of the studio, we're hardcore gamers. Like, we come from consoles, we come from MMOs, and you know, now we're getting a little older, and it's like, well, I don't have that 45 minutes or 3 hours to go and raid or to play a game. So how can we squeeze that down to like this tablet and mobile gaming experience? So we created a speed MOBA for tablets.
Cool.
So we took the best parts of what we like of the MOBA genre, because we love the MOBA genre, and said, how can we get this into like a 10-minute session where it's like, I have as much fun as possible. All
right, well, let's start it up here. We're going to get a game going. You've got one of the three modes here. We've got solo versus bots, co-op versus bots, and PvP.
Yep, so solo versus bots, you play on your own device. Solo versus bots. Co-op versus bots, jump online, play with some friends against bots. And then PvP is like, it's straight up PvP. Like, there's a full matchmaking system. It's like, play against people online. It's fantastic. Plays over 3G, plays over 4G, plays online.
And so obviously PvP and co-op need to be connected, but you were saying before, the solo versus bots, if you're connected at the start of the match and at the end of the match, then you're all good. But if in the middle, you're, say, going on a train under the bay on your way to work, like I might be doing.
If you're on the Caltrain or the BART, as you might be, and you're going through a tunnel, not a problem. It'll play flawlessly, and I do in the mornings. But so let's jump into a solo versus bots game.
Okay, we're taking a look at the trailer here, just giving folks a little flavor of the game itself. And so right away, talk to us about the art style you guys are going for. I'm seeing sort of familiar kind of wizards, ogres, sort of fantasy setting.
Yep, so we went for high fantasy, and there's, that's our base setting. But one of the things you can do with MOBAs, of course, is, you have your skins, and you get to have a lot of fun there. So, you get to see, like, okay, instead of just being this tank guy, now he's a pirate. Or, you've got a guy who turns into a bear, why not turn him into a teddy bear instead? Like, just get to have
and there
he is right there. And it makes a squeaking noise instead of like a growling noise. It's a ton of fun.
It sounds like a strange battle, but in the realm of high fantasy. I mean, hey, anything goes.
Yeah, and of course, then you also just have the stuff that looks freaking cool, and you just love it.
Yeah. All right, so give us that then, before we jump in, let's talk about the scope. You said longer matches are 12 minutes generally. They're shorter than that, but what is, how many players you have on each team, and how does the structure of Solstice Arena differ from, say a League of Legends or something like that?
Sure, so we're 3 versus 3.
Yeah.
And one of the big things, if you saw in the trailer there, was we saying no farming.
No farming.
No farming. Like, farming is a fantastic game. Like, the first 20 minutes, like, it can be a ton of fun.
Yeah, that ebb and flow, you're sort of jockeying for position, and, it's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it's time-consuming.
It is. It's time-consuming, and when we look at MOBAs and we say, where do we have the most fun playing it? It's like, it's team fights.
Yep.
So we wanted to create a game that's, it's no farming, it is team fights all the time. It's just fast, frenetic action.
All right, so let's start up a team fight here. We'll get into a solo versus bots match.
Cool.
And now there's a couple different difficulty levels. So, one of the things about MOBAs that I think, especially the more popular ones, is there's a lot of depth. There's a lot, the basic gameplay you can kind of get a handle on, but then it's just the nuances and the subtleties run so deep. Yep. How do you guys introduce players to sort of your systems?
So we have guided playthroughs. And then we have, multiple levels of the bot matches. You have your normal, you have your advanced. And really it's there to make sure that, players can go through and have fun playing the game at the pace they want. So if you want to jump in and play a normal game, play a normal game. And, it's going to be pretty good for you. If you want a more of a challenge, play an advanced game, and it's going to be really, really hard for you.
It's going to be tough.
Because the bots cheat.
Because we make it tough.
Yeah.
And now, so we're just actually looking at right now the character selection screen.
So character selection screen, we've gone and chosen one of our more popular heroes. It's Artharian. He's an archer. And you see he has 3 abilities there. So his signature ability is called Penetrating Shot. And one of the things that we did was we wanted you to be able to upgrade your heroes and have some kind of sense of progression. So you'll see there, he can upgrade the damage on his shot, or the area, the width of his shot, or the distance of the shot. So you can customize it to your playstyle. So if you're really good at hitting skill shots, you can upgrade the damage. If you're like, I'm not as good at hitting skill shots, you can upgrade the area. Or if you're like, I really want to play a poke game this game, you can upgrade the range.
The range.
So yeah, so let's keep on going. Skin select. So one of the cool things we have is we have this potion select.
Okay.
It's like you can just customize how you're going to go into the game just a little bit more. Like, do you want to have just a little bit more health, or do a little bit more damage, or move a little bit more faster? And then there's other cool things like the first time your team gets aced, you instantly respawn. Or you get a little bit more gold.
Does that happen kind of frequently, a team getting aced, which is wiped clean?
Yeah, we actually call it a power play. And yes, it happens, and it'll yell out power play, and you'll go, damn it.
No! And you have to wait for the timer unless you've, of course, gotten the right potion or the the right loadout.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start up this game. 3 versus 3 loading screen. You see, your team there is on the left in the blue versus red. So we have Artharian, we have Jericho, and we have Bombast. So we have a DPS, a healer, and a tank versus Kira, Lizeth, and Artharian again. So it's another healer, a tank, and a DPS. And each character kind of has their own moves that you'll see in the game. So let's jump into the item shop. One of the areas we really didn't want to compromise on is the item depth. But what we did want to do is make it easier for players to get into. So, in other MOBAs, you might build lots of small items into a big item. Instead, we just create these trees, and you start at your base, and you move your way up from there. But it still has interesting choices, where it's like, well, if I'm going against a tanky team, I want to take the anti-tank item. Or if there's a healer, I want to take the anti-healing item.
You want to target that healer, yeah.
Or if it's more of a general thing, I'll just increase my attack speed. So, and we've also created a recommended item system. So you see down the bottom there's recommended items. Brian's already gone ahead and purchased his crown. So let's get back into the game. And you'll see here, he's running around, he's picking up power-ups. And the little blue dot on the screen there is actually him moving his finger around on the screen. So this is actually playing on an iPad right now. He's playing next to us. And so he's getting into his first team fight here, and you'll see the normal kind of MOBA experience you'd expect, or an action fighter experience that you would expect. He's already killed the DPS, he's now focusing the healer, and their tank has retreated. So now's a really good time to push the tower.
To push on the tower, and you sort of given the little a pop-up there to sort of direct the player and say, this is what you want to do now, attack this.
Yeah, so one of the things that doesn't really fit well, of course, into a mobile game is being able to type in chat. Like, you don't have that time to say, hey guys, attack this guy right now.
Attack the tower, yeah. You can't really give your teammates that kind of communication.
Yeah, so instead we created this alert team button. And it's a contextual system that pops up and goes, oh, it's an enemy? Well, you can click on the enemy and it'll say attack it. Oh, it's the chest? You can click on the chest and say pick it up. Or you can say, guys, we're losing this battle. We need to retreat right now. Like, let's just get out of here. Or, in that case, defend the tower.
Things not looking good for Jericho.
So, no, he's... So they've pushed him back.
It's over.
Yeah. So you see in the middle of the arena there, we have this chest.
Yes.
And you'll see in games like LoL or Dota, they have like a Baron or a Dragon. It's this central objective that people are trying to get to. And the chest is what that is for us. Like, you're channeling it. It's creating this team fight in the center of the map. And capturing it awards your team with 100 gold for every member on your team. So you really want to take it and you want to capture it.
Is that on the scale of Solstice Arena Gold, 100 is a pretty significant boost?
100 is like a third of your tier 3, like your top tier items.
Oh, wow.
So, you really want to get those, and it's going to help out a lot. And so, they've pushed the enemy back so they can try and advance, going to pick up some power-ups. And we have 5 different elements within Solstice Arena. So we have Sun, Earth, Iron, Moon, and Void. And each one corresponds to a certain hero type. So Brian is going to be running around picking up a lot of Sun, because he's like he's a caster-based attacker. If he wanted more health, he would pick up Iron, and that would give him more health. Or if he wanted his basic attacks to hit harder, he would pick up an Earth power-up. So that allows you to give you other things to poke at during the map as well.
Yeah, so you're not just gathering, gold through assaulting your enemies and killing them, but you're also trying to, and then improving your character by spending that gold. You're also these power-up, these resources, if you will, are popping up on screen. Do they come up as part of combat, or do they just come up sort of? I mean, is that glowing orb at the bottom of the screen right now? That's a
moon power-up. So their cure is going to want to try and pick that up. So let's go back to the shop, and we'll spend some of the gold we just picked up. But yeah, the power-ups spawn throughout the match. They just create other points of interest where it's like, oh, I want to go get this. It's like, well, I want to stop him from getting that. Can I stop him until my team comes along? And so you see now he can start picking up tier 3 items.
Okay.
So in this case, it's like, well, do you want your abilities to come off cooldown sooner? Or do you want to do more basic attack damage? And those are the kinds of choices you need to make there. So he's going to kit himself out with as many items as he can now. And then he's going to go back and hopefully beat the bots.
Which is it better to have an item in every slot, or like that really powerful item in one slot?
It really depends on who you ask. Like if you look at our forums, there's like a player's guide section. Players are creating guides where it's like, well, you want to get this, and then you want to get this, or you want to get this you want to get your boots first, and not a tier 3 item first, or you want to build out these little ones first. So it really comes down to like what's going to work the best in this game for you. Maybe you start building something, you're like, oh, they went that, I need to go back and change what I'm doing now.
Now, that kind of build order strategizing, that can only really take place in a game where there is that kind of depth, right? Where there is, there are optimal paths for certain strategies, and then that's really interesting that you guys have generated that, and now they're, the forums are alight, because this game is available now for people to play.
Yeah, we're actually been out for a month now. This is our first weekend after our first month anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We've been super excited and humbled by the reception, honestly. Like, we picked up awards at E3 for, best MOBA in show, best mobile strategy game. 4.5 stars our fans are giving us on the App Store, Editor's Choice.
Nice.
Like, we've been blown away by the reception.
That must be
it's been fantastic.
Pretty gratifying, right? To have put so much work into it and now have a positive reception here.
Exactly. And so one of the other things you'll notice here is that their Oracle has stopped shooting. It's their final base, and the towers stop shooting from time to time. So because there's no minions to like take the shots as you would in another MOBA, what we do is we say that if the enemy team is dead or they've retreated back to their base, the Oracle actually turns off and the towers turn off. And that's the same as pushing the minion wave.
Yeah.
And so it actually leads to some additional moments of fun and interest where it's like, okay, one guy left on their team, he's retreating back. It's like, do we dive past the towers? Like, can I kill him before his towers kill me?
Because if you then kill him, his towers will shut off, and you'll have that.
But
that
if you
advantage.
don't get to him in time, then you're dead. And he's laughing it up. So Brian unfortunately died.
Brian.
I know, right? Like, he's playing bots. Come on.
Fortunate, he's got to be bold.
But I think he's going to win it on this one. Like, they're pushing them back. The team's almost dead. And now I think we'll be able to charge across and really get the Oracle.
It's interesting, the way that you are sort of preserving the, talking about you don't have minions, so there's no creep, there's no farming gold that way. There's also no, distracting the tower, so you built in that tower shut-off period. Ways that you're sort of taking these MOBA conventions that have worked so successfully in other games, preserving the gameplay sort of spirit of it, but but actually reworking the actual mechanics.
Yeah, and that was our mission from the start, was take this genre we love and not just like move it to tablets, but actually say, how can we make this in a way that makes sense for tablets and makes sense for phones?
Yeah.
How can we make this game as fun as possible? And so you'll see we've finished the match, and Brian's actually in his final match loading screen now. And it has the standard things you'd expect. So, you have like the item build out. This is like the item build out that the enemy team had. Or if you look at the final screen, there's a bunch of badges there, and it's saying, hey, you know what? You won a game. Fantastic. Or, you purchased a support item. Get a badge for that if you're a sport person. Gold farmer. You got the most gold in the match. Or, then there's a couple of throwouts in there that, some of the MOBA fans will get like, not even close. It's like, if you kill an enemy and barely get away with like 2 health left. Or totally worth it if you kill the enemy and then die straight afterwards. So we're going to dive back in and have a look at a couple of heroes.
And so those badges, that's just sort of stuff that accumulates on your profile as you level up?
So right now it's giving you experience, it's giving you valor.
Okay.
We'd love to move them into some kind of achievement system in the future. Like, it's obviously set up for that, and we'd love to do it. So this is Artharian, who we just played. One of the
Yeah.
cool things about MOBAs, as we were talking about before, is the ability to do skins.
Yes.
One of our skins, of course, is
like
Big Head Mode.
which it looks absurd, which is, of course, the goal of every Big Head mode, so you guys have succeeded there.
Exactly. And like Big Head Mode, you know, like NBA Jam, we like to say we're the NBA Jam of MOBAs.
The NBA Jam of MOBAs.
Like, NBA Jam wasn't a game about simulating basketball. NBA
No.
Jam was a simulation of dunking from midcourt with your head on fire. And that's kind of what we wanted to
And
create.
it was wonderful.
And it was wonderful. So that's kind of what we wanted to create with Solstice. We want this fast, frenetic gameplay that you just love. So some of the other skins we got Sunforged Artharian. This looks like a badass. Like,
Yeah.
you'll see, like, instead of his bow, he's got a crossbow.
Vampire Hunter Artharian.
Vampire Hunter Artharian. This was released on Tuesday, and it just looks really cool.
Yeah,
and
he
that's
looks
something
like a
we
pretty
do-
nasty dude, and it's also neat because it's it's very colorful.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of color. It's a different kind of profile on the screen.
Yeah, and we want our skins to, like, when you use a skin, we want you to be able to customize it and feel good about it. Like, we don't want to just have a recolor of our textures.
Right.
We want you to go, this is cool. Why would I not want to buy this?
This is a different getup. And so, why would you not want to buy this? That leads into Solstice Arena is free to play.
Solstice Arena is free to play, and we like to say it's also fair to play.
Fair to play.
So there is no pay to win in the game.
Okay.
So you can spend no money in the game at all and be on par with someone who's spent a lot of money in the game. So for us, we want to create a reason for you to give us money.
Yeah.
We want to create something that's like, it's so cool that you feel like you have to give us money. You're like, this is awesome, I need this thing.
You guys did an awesome job. Let me throw some money. Or
Yeah.
Big Head Brutus is too good not to buy.
Yeah.
Biker Brutus, nice little flames.
Biker Brutus, he actually even has a gold
Etu
tooth.
Brutus.
So Etu Brutus hasn't been released yet. This is one of our sneak peeks.
Okay.
So you get Brutus, Julius Caesar, our creative director, loves in-jokes, loves puns. So, of course, we have to have an Etu Brutus.
Naturally.
So he's, dressed up as a Roman
He's
senator.
just ready to, go into the forum, hold forth in front of the Senate, and bash someone's skull in, apparently.
Exactly. Well, stab him, as it might have been.
Yeah.
So the next one is one of my favorite characters. It's going to be one of my favorite skins. So it's Balthazar.
Okay.
He's like Demon Lord of the Void. Like, he's throwing this massive weapon around.
I love
so,
the big head mode so much.
Yeah.
It just makes these like sinister characters like
It's so
goofy
cool.
and fun. It's great.
He's got his badass skin. This is one of the new ones coming out.
Speaking of goofy,
Yeah.
Surfs Up Balthazar.
Yeah. So this is my favorite skin in the game. It's fantastic.
Does he attack with his surfboard?
He throws the surfboard. And he's got his board shorts, he's got some thongs, he's got some tats. He's got like, the necklace, and then of course he's got zinc on his nose because he's very sun conscious as a demon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't be getting skin cancer
Exactly.
as a demon.
So the next one is actually something that our fans have kind of guessed at previously. So we have a hero called Lizette. She wields this massive sword, and her little signature animation, she rocks out like she's on a guitar. And of course, people said, well, there's got to be a punk rock skin for this. And we're like, yes, of course. There's a
Yes,
punk rock
naturally
skin.
there will be a punk rock skin.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining the matchup of punk rock Lizette versus Surfs Up horrible demon versus Roman Senator Brutus.
Exactly.
It just seems like you guys have a real playful vibe.
Exactly. And sometimes you need something badass. Sometimes you need something that's just fun. And of course, we do things like, instead of it being like a massive sword sound, like when she hits someone, it actually sounds like she's breaking a guitar over their head.
Did you guys have to do some serious research and break guitars in order to make that happen?
Yes, definitely.
That's dedication to your craft, and I appreciate it.
Exactly. So this is one of our most popular heroes, Marco. Has a lot of skins. And this is one of those skins where we just say, it just looks cool. So this is Hellforged Marco. This guy's more of an assassin. He jumps on people's heads from afar.
And given how many parts of him are pointy, that would probably be pretty effective.
Yeah. He's an assassin. He's pretty good at finishing people off. And he also has a little dagger that he's throwing out. So his perk is what we like to call is like when he's approaching a target, he'll actually be throwing the dagger out at them. And then once he's in range, he'll pull out his sword and start bashing on them with that.
Nice.
So let's jump into the game with him.
What are you going for potion? Fury?
Fury Potion, he wants to do some more damage. He's all about damage, so now he's going to do more damage. And so this time we have Jericho and Lizeth on his team again, and this time Artharian, Lizeth, and Kira on the enemy team. So once again, we have that DPS, support, tank build. We try and make sure even our PvP matches have these viable team builds. So we're not matching just on skill.
Yep.
We're also matching on team composition.
Okay,
We're
so you don't
matching
end up with just all ranged characters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you're doing matchmaking, you're not all getting together as a team and saying, all right, I'll go tank, you go, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. And as part of that, we also have servers all over the world. So we want your experience to be the best it can be. So if you're playing in the UK, you have servers in the UK. If you're playing in Southeast Asia, there are servers in Southeast Asia. And of course, if you're playing in the US, there's definitely servers in the US because that's where we play and we want to play on them. So you see the first team fight breaking out, and he's jumped in on top of someone already, and things just going on. Unlike Artharian, where he's trying to stay back a little bit more, this time he's trying to get in. He's really going to try and get to the back lines where there's the healer or the DPS, and his jump really helps him get into that. Cool. So they're finishing off the enemy team. Fantastic. Get the chest once again.
Yeah, that's pretty. So now that's what has happened. Now they're actually. They had vanquished the team, and so they're pausing to just all. It takes a second to capture it after you've opened it.
Yeah, so you're actually channeling it, and the channel's faster the more team members you have channeling it. So it's kind of like this group experience. And he didn't get out of the tower range fast enough.
Couldn't quite get out. Yeah, that was a pretty long-range seeking kind of thing. Are the towers, in terms of their attacks, do they differ at all, or from match to match or position to position?
So it's more like. We like to say it's like an ice hockey rink, right? As you progress across the map, every time you play ice hockey, the rink is the same.
Yes.
But the players are different.
Uh-huh.
And Solstice is kind of the same. The arena is the same, but the players are different every game. So while we only have the one lane, you still know that your team composition and who you're going to be fighting against is different every time. Mm-hmm. And also the items they take as well. Artharian might build as a caster, or he might build more as an AD carry for the MOBA fans out there.
Sure.
And even something else we've done, there's of course a river in every MOBA. Uh-huh. People love the river.
Yeah, you got to have the river.
Exactly. Our river actually slows you down. So it starts creating this are you going to try and get across it?
Uh-huh.
If you're a ranged character, you're going to kind of sit over there and make sure the melee guys have to run through it to get to you. And then it also starts creating some additional tactics. So Balthazar, we were looking at before, he actually has an ability where he swaps positions with an enemy. So people will go and sit in the river as him, and then swap an enemy into the river.
Oh, they're slowed down, and you get the advantage then.
Exactly.
Well, Cameron, it seems like there's, a lot of depth here in Solstice Arena, but with the small player count and with the short time frame, it seems like you'll be able to cycle through, really get a grasp for the tactics inherent in this speed MOBA, which is available now for folks to download. What platforms can they play it on?
So right now we're available on iOS. You can play it on your phone or your tablet. We're working on Android. We love Android. We love Samsung Galaxy, of course.
Uh-huh.
We play it internally on the studio. So that's already in development. We're looking at PC and Mac. We're playing on PC and Mac and Android every day.
Okay.
So right now we're focusing on making sure we get things in like ladders, things that people expect in the game, getting all those features in place, and then rolling it out to these other platforms that we know people want and we want as well. Sometimes I do want to play on my PC instead of my phone. So we're really looking forward to it, and we're playing it all the time internally to make sure it's as good as it can possibly be.
All right. Well, Cameron, thank you so much for coming by and talking Solstice Arena with us here at Comic-Con.
Not a problem. Thanks for having us.
Much appreciated. All right, folks, we got some more guests coming down the pipeline now here, and I think, are we going to try to toss, or are we going to keep rolling? All right. We're going to get them on right now, and I'm going to take a look in the chat. Folks,